chat from where you are coming, and because everybody wants to know about you. So user group is not only for sharing ideas and learning, right? So it's for networking also. So please introduce yourself in the chat. Everybody wants to know about you, and really thanks for your time. So in Saturday you have allocated the time and attending the sessions. Really thanks for that. And please introduce yourself in the chat. So from where you are attending the session, and whether it's a first session or have you attended already. And yeah, if you have some suggestion also you can put, and how many years of experience you are having. So please introduce yourself in the chat. We are really eager to know about you. Hi, Mohammed. Hi, Mayur. Thanks for joining. Hi, Sandeep. Thanks for your time. I can still see some participants. Kausalya, Manikandan, Santosh, Narendra, Muhammad. Everybody, please introduce yourself. Hi, Nisha. Thanks for joining. Hi, Jodi. So maybe some of you are joining. Maybe for you, this is the first time for the user group meeting. So usually in the user group meeting, so not only technical things you will learn, also you can get the wonderful gifts. So after the session, from the session content, we will conduct a quiz with which contains 10 questions. So if you attend based on your participation, right? So you can win the prizes also. You can win the swag kit from OutSystem. So yeah, that is one. Another one complimentary for you. Hi, Manikandan. Hi, Ananti. Hi, Prabhu. Okay. Hi, Narendra Tiwari. Hi, also. Okay, let's start the session. Okay, thanks for thanks for coming. So today we are going to learn about best practices performance. So yeah, Jerome, can you go to the next slide? Yeah. So OutSystem community. So OutSystem is community is really a vibrant community. OutSystem is having so many programs to encourage the people. So there are many programs to learn to help others. So there are two programs from OutSystem. Sorry, wait. There are three. In this slide, just I mentioned three programs. There are every month OutSystem is coming up with some new program also. For example, recently recently they have recently they have announced a front end boot camp. So yeah, so if you go to this URL outsystem.com/community, you can learn, you can know about the recent announcements and user groups.outsystem.com. If you go to this URL, you can learn more about user groups, and you can know what are the user group events is going to happen in the future. So most of the user group events, they will conduct in online, not only India. So you can attend session from other countries also. So you can learn many things, and also the whatever session the people conducted, you can go to that and you can learn about that as well. And OutSystem champion program. So to encourage, to motivate the people who is helping the community. So OutSystem introduced two programs. One is champion, one is MVP. So champion is the people who helping others, who is who is helping others, and who is telling about our system more to the other people. And MVP also similar to that, but MVP is a person who is strong in technical side as well. So there are two programs. So if you feel if somebody is really fit to become a MVP or fit to become a champion, you can nominate them. And also, if you want to become a champion and MVP, you can go to this website and you can learn more about it. And actually, currently, champion program is not open as well as the MVP nomination. But you can get the notification when it is open, and if you want, you can also participate, and you can participate your colleagues or other people who is actively helping the community. Yeah. So, and then ODC training. So still ODC training is happening. Still some slots are available. So if you are already a System 11 developer and you want to know about ODC, still there's a chance you can go to this ODC training. So the URL, just a second, I will put it in the chat maybe. So you can go to that and schedule for the session. So where they will review and they will send a slot for you, so you can explore more about ODC, and you can learn more about it. And after that, you can attend the exam as well. So still stars are there. Please utilize it. And yeah, I will put the link in the chat. And developer school, so this is for the developers from other from the other software. So maybe you know some friends who is an expert or who is using other technologies like .NET or front end technologies for more time. And if you feel if they learn OutSystem, it will be a turning point in their career. You can refer these programs to your friends. So this is the URL. And so actually this developer school, it will be conducted in the weekdays, every day 4 hours. So they can learn in 2 weeks out system, and in the end of the program they can get the voucher for the reactive certification as well. So please share this URL. It will be helpful for some of your friends or your colleagues. So please share this URL. And OutSystem research program. So if you want to share your ideas to OutSystem, right? There are two ways. One is OutSystem ideas. You can search about it and you can submit your ideas. Also, there is a research program. So whenever any product update comes, so they will conduct a research program. So you can give your feedback. You can sign up for the program. You can give your feedback, and you can get some rewards also after attending the feedback session. So please utilize it. And you can know another one advantage is you can get the updates. What are the product updates is going to happen in the future, so you can get that update as well. So please enroll and share your feedback to system. So this is one program. So if you scan this QR code, you can get the URL. Otherwise, you can just Google OutSystem research program, and you will get the URL and you can enroll yourself. Yes. And then, so this session, it will happen like a webinar. So So whatever questions you are having, right? So you can put it in the chat. So the speaker will address all your questions once the session is over, and then the meeting will be recorded. Last time we missed it, so this time definitely we will record it and we will share it in the YouTube, as well as we will put the URL in the same event page. You can, if any of your friends miss the event, you can share the URL also, so they can also, learn from it. And then, if you want to provide a feedback to us, you are always welcome. So you can reach out to me also. You can reach out to Sakiba, Jerome, and Krishnamban. Also, you can provide the feedback after the session. So after the session, you will get the feedback form. So you can share your feedback via that as well. And then, so organizer. So I'm Hati Mary. I'm having around 8 plus years experience in in total IT experience, and 6 plus years in OutSystem. And I'm an new award winner, official OutSystem champion, and last three conferences I have got a chance to speak as well. And I really help out system, so I really love out system. I want to help others, so I'm really happy to be one of the organizer. And Krishnambal, she is an out system MVP. She is also one of the organizer. She's a um, she's mostly connecting the training program for the out system professionals. And then today we are having Preeti Kumari. So she is having uh, total 15 plus years of IT experience. So she is an architect at Tech Mahindra, and she is experienced in developing and delivering projects in functional domains such as e-commerce, insurance, products and out system. She's an expert in mobile app and PWA project, and yeah, so the same topic. So she spoke about out system offline capabilities into mobile and progressive web application in Next Step 2022, and I am also one of the lucky person to work with her. She is my ex colleague. I got a chance with work with her. She helped me a lot on offline capabilities. I learned many things from her, and she's an active participant in OutSystem community. She loved to share ideas, and she's having hands-on experience in wide range of technologies, including various OS. So welcome, Preeti. Really happy to have you here, and we all are eager to learn more from you. Welcome. Thank you, Preeti. Over to you, Preeti. You can say.
Thank you. Thank you, Atimari. Thank you for wonderful introduction. Okay, so I would like to welcome you all as well as thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for being here. Okay, today we will be diving into the best performance practices where we will be exploring like how we can why OutSystem is basically a a high performance low code application, as well as we will also see why like what are the performance parameters that needs why performance matters actually. Okay, and we will also see how we can incorporate best practices to improve our performance of application. We will see quickly there. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Can you go to next slide? Yeah. So before we start, I would like to imagine, if you like, you all to imagine a scenario where like you all are in charge of a critical software project, which is racing against tight deadlines to deliver a flawless application, and everything seems to be going smoothly, and suddenly your application starts uh, experiencing some sludging performance. Okay, so which is very common in our software development world, and then definitely the results are users and the stakeholders become very frustrated, right? And then there is a pressure why it is happening on every developer, architect, and the leads, right? So what if I tell you like There is a proven strategy and best practices like those in OutSystems that we cannot only prevent such performance issues, but also we can optimize the performance of applications for peak efficiency. Okay, so this is why we are here to understand what we can do to improve our performance of application. Okay, so today we will be diving into the realm of OutSystem performance best practices, where every millisecond counts and every line of code plays a crucial role in delivering an exceptional user experience. Okay, so now OutSystem, just in that slide, Jeremy. Yeah, so we'll start with why OutSystem is called high performance low code application. Okay. Yeah. So OutSystem is a primer low-code platform which is actually renowned for its exceptional performances. It has delivered or it has swift the business to develop and deploy very high performance applications with minimal coding. With minimal coding, definitely I will like we have just as we need to drag and drop. We don't have to write each line of code what we used to do in a previous traditional high code application. So definitely, and it has a very robust architecture already in it as a platform. Also, it offers very efficient database operations and caching mechanisms, and which and definitely ensures the optimal performance and making the right choice of for the organization to adopt it.
Yeah, sorry for
And
the interruption, Preeti. Maybe you can also share your screen so that you can have more control
yeah, sure, yes,
if you want. Yeah.
just a second. Yeah. Let me know if you can see it.
Yeah, Preeti.
Okay. Okay. So this is why it is an it is called a high performance low code application, low code platform. Sorry. And then coming to performance fundamentals, like as you all know, uh, performance is a very important factor when it comes to an experience. It can improve the impression on the customer whether they want to use this application with a high performance uh, with very quick turnaround don't want. They definitely the user retention for every person nowadays has reduced very much because of these shorts and reels. You all know they cannot retain. They are not retained at any place if it is taking long time. So we have to understand the human mentality, human psychology, and then a website which is very well engaging and well designed. Uh, Makes an instant positive to the customer, which improves the overall user experiences and definitely it increases the engagement. And what if an application is not having a not so good performance, like when you are trying to click on application, like it from one screen to another, if you're doing an add operation or edit operation, it is just taking a lot of time, either in loading the application or you can say when loading the page or whenever you're loading the operation, any API call is getting it leaves a very bad impression and definitely it gets turned into less conversion rate. So user will not like to use it. They will have their own excuses like it is having these issues and that. So they generally don't like it and they don't want to use it. So we have to be very careful about the performance also. Having an application with so many features but not good performance is not going to work nowadays. So it is equally important if you add a feature, you should also consider the performance of it. Also, and As far as the key matrices, like okay, we are doing our best, but what are the matrices, like how we can ensure like our application is going right way or it is performing properly. So there are various parameters, example like response time, throughput time, and resource utilizations. Basically, response time is when a user starts an operation and it gets the response and the screen gets loaded and operation is getting completed. And also the throughput time is basically when throughput time is when if multiple request is going to a server at the same time it is happening, how application is responding in them. So request per second, all those things is measured through as a throughput. Also, we also have to see like if we are how extensive queries or everything we have written, so how much sources it is consuming. So all these things included will make a your metrics, like how your application is performing. So if I tell you in general perspective, like if your application is for web application mainly, if your application is taking zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.5 milliseconds to make a navigation like click actions or something interaction. So when you are already on a screen and you are moving from one section to another section, or you are doing some actions, it should not be more than 0.1 to 5 seconds, I guess. Yeah. And as well as when you are loading a page for the first time, or whenever you are loading the page, it should not be more than it should vary actually between 2 to 3 seconds, not more than that. Oh, and the same goes with mobile, but here in mobile we generally have application launching also included, which should also again be a 2 to 3 seconds mostly, not more than that. Okay. Now we'll see. Now we know what all things how we can measure. But as OutSystem as a platform already gives you this all these capabilities, like it has very good architects and everything. But you also have to do your part. We cannot totally rely on OutSystem for its high performance tool, right? So we also we also have to do some coding. We have to incorporate the best practice in our layers, so that the product which is coming should be a very flawless and very useful application for the end user. So here we are going to talk about how we can improve performance while we are designing entity modeling, data modeling. You can say when we are writing queries, when we are writing logic, but what measures we should consider when we are doing an Excel operation, like upload or download. What all things we should definitely consider, and then when we are adding references also, right, when we use when we develop user interfaces, so we will try to have a look on each of this. Okay. So so let's start with performance of entity modeling. As you all definitely, when every application's backbone is data. So if database is going wrong in any direction, anyway, like if it is not designed properly, if it is not it is not covering all the scenarios, all the application will definitely suffer this while development, while after production, everything. So database has to be very very carefully developed, definitely in terms of designing, like how we are adding the references and how attributes and everything we are adding. So considering that, when we design a database, when we create entity, the most commonly used data type for an entity or attribute is text, and this should be very carefully used because see, the default value that text gives when you create an attribute of text type is 50. But people generally tend to make it length undefined, like 2000, 5000, anything. That should not be done. You should be very careful. You should ask your customer like what could be the maximum value, or what be, or you can just go with some gut feeling, but you should not make blindly any big number. It should be less than 2000 for sure, because what happens when Service Studio converts it to this attributes into the SQL Server database, if it is less than 2000, it will create as a varchar, but if it is more than 2000, it will create as a text, which is actually a binary data. So it plays a big role when you fetch or when you update things. So we need to take care of these things. Also, when designing and database, when we have a requirement where we need to store some binary data, maybe an Excel or images or something. We have to isolate it from the main entity. Okay. So let's take example like we are creating something for employee. We have created an employee table or entity, but we need to have all the profile information along with his image. So what should we do? Should we create all the entities because it is a part of the same as an image? Image also employee image? No. Create another separate entity with one-to-one relationship where you can just have this additional attribute for storing binary data. So how it will improve your performance? So when you are fetching, so mostly you need image everywhere. You are fetching employee data, it will just fetch the required values, except image, which will be live. And whenever an image, I think will be needed just one or two places. Whenever you need images from this profile, you can just in this table. It is one to one. You can easily join and then get the image for that. So this type of thing definitely keep in mind always. And doing things right at the start is much better than refactoring it later. So from the starting, if we consisting and keeping this in mind, definitely this help your project and everyone a lot. Okay. Also, when it comes to designing a database, we also just go with creating the foreign key references like keep much focus on there, but we have to understand the relationship and what type of data it is holding. So and making the delete rule, create a what you say foreign key reference, but just look at the delete rule if we the protected rule over there or not, because definitely it will help you in retaining the data or making data not inconsistent, but it's always not required. So we should just revisit the requirement, like if we can make it delete rule as ignore. Sometimes it definitely helps a lot while you in your performance. Okay, so also indexes is another major thing that we should definitely consider at the initial stage only. So carefully define and create entity indexes. So and indexes should be like check which tables are can go heavy or indefinitely. We have to keep an idea of that. Like check with your customer at the requirement gathering or your discussions with the customers. And in terms of like this records will grow heavily in months or a week. It should be like from the perspective and assume what worst possible behavior user can face. So all those things we have to think, and then you have to carefully create indexes. Also, like think which queries will be more used and see which fields are used to filter them. So when we are creating, we as we have application idea, we can think of it like okay, mostly we have to if I take call of employee or contract only. So if mostly we have to filter by either by employee ID or by employee name. So these two things, so we can say employee ID because if it is a unique identifier from the out system, it will already a cluster index which we don't have to worry. But if it does not your primary key, then if you're creating a separate key which you are maintaining by your own, you should definitely make a index over there as well as on the you can make a composite key index also for combining ID and name. So whenever you will get the query for those things, it will be very fast, but at the same time you also have to take care the unnecessary indexes you should not create, otherwise it will be expensive when you are doing the write and updates to your or deletes to your table. So we have to be very very careful, but yeah, we should make the wise decision. So this is how you can go to an entity when you are creating, right click and edit entity, and then you can add your indexes. You can again make it unique. You can just describe the attribute. Then you can also go and on the more option and you can do the further things. So indexes are very useful things just by used by care. Okay. As I said, you can go and create in composite indexes also. Okay. And don't be afraid of creating an index on one field and then another on a group of fields. So people generally it is if as you are, but you should, if you know the situations or applications in scenarios, like what is going to happen, if you well, you can definitely you have to go and create the all combinations, because in many situations it really pays off. It Otherwise you can feel some performance issues, but if you are doing this upfrontly, understanding the requirement properly, and then you are doing this, it will definitely pay off. Also, indexes on the lookup tables mainly, because lookup tables, or people may call it control tables, or also master tables, where a lot of data to find. There also indexes are very very benefit. So you can add indexes over there as well. Now, when a table grows infinitely, like if you are using a project, when like in a production it is from 2 years, 3 years, or something, like if it is going indefinitely, then definitely there should be something locked timers which should clean up the old unnecessary records. Why? Because generally people tendency is like we will create some scripts and then we will run it manually, but no one is going to remember. No one is going to remember if people keep on. This IT world is very certain, people keep on going and coming and going. So fight not to take the automation consideration here, and in the OutSystem we can go and create timers which we can clean the old unnecessary code. Uh, and this by this I mean only records which are not required, which are like where we are not using it. Like you can take an example of orders. If there are lots of orders, if we are not interested in orders which was like 6 months before, or we can move it to archive tables. So this also we have to historical data with to different archive tables by creating indexes. Okay. So once our database designing is done properly, then we have to write our queries to definitely we have to concentrate also on the queries, how we are writing the queries properly. So as you know, aggregates, if we use aggregates, it is automatically performance tuned from by the out system if you are using it properly. And whenever possible, actually when the this query writing, whenever possible, use identity identifier in your where clause, because it has, as I said before, it has a cluster index created on by our system already creates this cluster index. So if you're using in where clause, if you're using identifier, it will definitely increase your performance. And never ever forget to put the max record property on any aggregate or simple query or any queries, because this unnecessary you can keep on spending a lot of time for the database also to getting unnecessary unuseful records. Like in this need users one user by the user ID maybe, but in not user ID by user, let's say. So and if I'm just filtering for the first name, so there could be multiple user whose name first name could be this, right? So don't just put one record, like we need this first record and that to proper where conditions, like by this ID, it will minimal fetch and write data for you. So those type of thing we have to be little cautious about. Yes, and when we are using advanced queries, we should also put top parameter, because if we put max record in that, it will just filter out your records from the as a response query. You have to put top on the uh, SQL query also. In that way, what will happen? It will limit the record face itself. So that is also an important one. Any questions as of now? Okay, go ahead then. Okay, so next is also like advanced queries. Right, while writing advanced queries, advanced is that update as many rows as possible. So you should do each bulk updates and all those in a single statement through advanced queries. So it will rather than just having multiple queries going from one by one, then doing each update. It will also help you, and it will also like reduce your improve your efficiency. And then you and many times have external database connected to your application. So don't join. You can use those table external, but don't join the two linked servers. Never don't join between them. Otherwise, it will cost you a lot. What happens when you when you join with an internal to external table or the linked server, it takes all the table data into your memory and then it joins to. So it is very costly affair actually. So that's why it is not at all recommended. And also, uh, let me know, Jenny and sorry, Hatimari and Joanne, if I'm going too fast or slow, or if anyone has any question. Okay. Also, also when you are using isolated aggregates, we should avoid using isolated aggregates. Isolated aggregates means we are creating an action just to fetch the aggregate data. Okay, just to fetch aggregate data. That is why I told you when we create aggregates out system by platform only optimizes based on what all fields, what all columns is getting used in UI. But if you are binding it in action, it will have no idea. So it will get everything for you. So better not to combine this. Use it on the screen level only. Also avoid like iterating by using indexers over a query. So what happens? Excuse me, sorry. What happens if by iterating and using direct indexers with some values like this, all the results will be stored again in your memory. Then it will do the iteration. So that is again, it will not be clearly visible to you, but it is how it is happens in the background. So we should avoid those kinds of things also. Minimize the number of executed queries. So whenever possible, group several aggregates or SQL queries into a single one to avoid back and forth trips of the database. So just if you are using one server action, if you are using multiple server actions or multiple requests from client to get one data first and then second data, just try to create in a one aggregate so that you get everything in a one round only. So also when we are dealing with our traditional web, we need to simplify our preparation. So long page loads have a high impact on the user experience. So assume that we are clicked an application, opening application, but it is taking long time to load just because we are trying to get all the data which half of them which may be used by the user or not. So try to bring minimal data at the preparation level and then load the screen first. So we should also simplify the preparation. Also avoid using site properties as logic variables, which can frequently change. So site properties are actually meant as a constant value. We should never use as a logical variable. It is always recommended that just because what happens when we update when we do an update from application or somewhere in a site property, it it goes an immediate database transaction which takes very longer, and then it has to validate and some other operation like you have this tenant invalid cache operation must be issued. So there are so many things in the background happen. So we should avoid doing this, updating the site variable. Also, we should use sessions very wisely. Um, as an increase or number of concurrent users in the application, the compound of impact of using large session variables may increase because if there are multiple users simultaneously accessing the application, there will be a large session getting created. It will also have an impact, which is actually related to this throughput. Those things actually matter a lot. If you are using a lot of session variables, large session variables, it will have an impact there. Also, whenever we are developing or creating a logic aggregate, service center is definitely the something which we should always keep on checking whether a user is in production, whether a application is in production or a development, or because it helps a lot It is actually a starting point for all optimization needs. So if you keep on tracking this, you will be able to get most of your bugs, which you may get later at this at early age, early time. And you can, if you work on this, definitely it is going to pay you. Okay. Also, like when it comes to timers and batch jobs, avoid having running timers. It should any timer should not go most should go at least 20 minutes, and then you should reschedule it immediately. Ideally, it is not even 20 minutes. 20 minutes is the default, but we should make it just half of this somehow, and then we should keep on rescheduling it. Otherwise, timers is a very good thing which can like asynchronously works, and then your application, most of the logic is not interrupted with the application, but application. So your application can work independently, and the timers are going in background. But the other impact of timer also gets when you have so many timers with a long processing, and like it goes in background, but ultimately it is happening your environment only, right? So it will not only impact your application, but it will impact the complete factory. It will impact your complete environment. So we should be very careful of this. Definitely we should use this, but with a definitely not very blindly, like just create a timer for everything and do not keep watch on that. And also, okay, so this I have already taken. So same thing, like when make timers run only when they are really required. So like let's say we have created a timer and we have started the schedule it for after every 30 minutes. So don't do that. Be very like the timer is required, but if it is done once in a day or once in a week, just go with that. Just make a very wise. Also add some audits on all the important steps, because you are not going to check your timers. So if you add an audit to track your timers, what your timer is doing, it will also issue or something is going to come. So in that way, also handle exceptions in the timer action. Generally, people uh, forget to add exception handlers in timers. So definitely, we should take add an exception handlers and wake or take some actions, like if exception what we need to do. As we want to commit, we want to roll back, or we want to awake the timer again. So those things we have to consider when we are designing a timer. Otherwise, your data can go in like inconsistent state, like something you were doing, and because of any reason, maybe the data was from the API it was not coming, or you network got anything. If it gave exception, it was stopped. Your data will not be able. You will not be able to roll back. You should be very cautious. You should definitely handle the exception. Okay. Also, highly demanding timers. Avoid timer timeout. So what it is, prepare a smooth timer stop before the timer actually times out. So that's why, and timer should start itself in half of the timeout time in 20 seconds. This I will show you in this. So if you see if how we can design this, we can just set a timer maybe for a 10 minutes from now, and then we can do our bulk processing. We can get the bulk processing. We can check if it is a processed, or if it still needs to process, then we can add edits, and then we can go each by a process the record, then again add audit like up to what level we have done the processing. Then again we'll check that if the timeout is happened. If it is less than 10 minutes from that, we can do our further processing. And also if it is if it is getting timeout, we can audit, and then we can uh, awake our timer again. And similarly, when there is an exception happen, we can again audit the exception was happened, and then we can awake based on our parameters. So this way we can control our timers not to go infinitely, not to process any other issues in the application or to the environment or factory. So we should always do commits also in the database. Okay. So performance to when we are doing any dealing with Excel. So take into account the number of number of Excel lines to upload. So let's say we are uploading an Excel. We have a requirement where we need to do an upload from Excel and then make a database entry into the application. So what we should first we have to check like how much records needs to be uploaded. If the number of lines to be uploaded are not fixed, then you should assure that the application is capable of loading 65,000 records, which is the maximum record Excel allows. So because or you should definitely check with the customer or the like what number of data could be possible. Because if you're doing this many records entry in the database, there could be other consequences also. So we have to be very sure about how many records it is going to have in the Excel. Okay. Also, don't forget that the record are inserted into tables, as I said, that the insert will be progressively slow along with the table growth. So as the table will be growing over the period, if you are uploading this type of Excels again and again, just imagine how slow your queries for that table will become and how slow your inserts will also become. So just keep on those things in the mind. Also, don't forget the page load timeouts. So if Excel takes too much time to load, saving the file in the database also helps sometimes. So that processing while processing in a time. So this type of few things, if we keep on considering, if we can make our application definitely better. Okay. Now coming to like performance when we are adding a references. So references is when we are like we should be very careful whenever we are adding our references to our modules. We should think twice, definitely think twice, and we should not make any references errors so that it violates start violation to the your architecture. Never we should never create a circular references. Okay, so the main intention is whenever because it keeps on it when you are deploying or always it keeps a issue. So definitely you should take care of that when you are adding any reference to any module. Just think if you need to create a separate module for this or you want to use this in the proper hierarchy. So we should never have these circular references at both core and foundation layer as well as upward references in the anywhere and even side references between the end users. So we should take care of all those things. And also like the choose wisely when you are using a web service or a public action. So there is a whenever you use a public action instead of web service, it increases the performance of the application in runtime, but it ultimately it increases the complexity of applications also. So we have to be think like when we need a public actions to be referenced or when we need a local web service to be created. Both has its own advantage and its own disadvantages. So we have to keep and it gets developed over an experience when you understand the things in a real world scenario. But at least we if we have this in mind, we can think we can from initial we can think of this. Okay, we need a public action or do we need a service for this? Also, when using an external database or system through some extension or something, we should also consider the connection pooling because connection pools enables you to maintain and reuse a pool. We don't have to open database connection and then close and then open again. So it will use a connection pooling for your application. It will also add to your performance. Okay. And when we design, when we develop user interface or when we verify user interface of for a performance perspective, the biggest thing is better to cache most of the thing whatever queue. But definitely this has to be done when we are about to go to production. Otherwise, if you are in development phase and if you start doing caching, it will you may not get all the scenarios and all the right data. So before at least to UAT and production, if you add caching, it will help your performance to the application. And but where we can add this, where all it is supported. So the list written by the aggregate and SQL, we can have caching in minutes. So if same input is going there and we are expecting like same output. So if I am maybe like for employee ID 1, I am expecting the same data not to be changed very frequently. So we can put the time like okay for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, if everyone is again calling with the same ID, it should not go to server, it will give you the cache data. It also increases the performance. And also the output parameter of custom server actions. If a server action is you have created, it will not execute all the logic. If the proper input is done, the output will be same. You can also use web blocks and element try again elements they contain. So this is only for traditional web. And these are the elements where caching is not supported. So screens at screen level we cannot cache. REST APIs cache. Web blocks with submit or Ajax we cannot cache. So at least these places wherever we can cache it, we should use it, but when at the right time comes. Also, avoid using preparation data in screen action. So, when we are using a preparation data in the screen action, it also adds to a performance. It actually not adds to it, it impacts your performance. So, you should many times, even if you have data in your preparation, but if you are calling, it's better to recall from the screen action, not to use preparation data. So, these things also help in the performance improvement. Also, use multiple web screen instead of creating complex one. Now you will say, okay, Preeti, you are saying this, but what about AO get increases? So definitely AO, we have to keep that in mind. But this again, if just for AO, we cannot compromise with the performance. So we have to check like if the screen is unnecessary, we are adding complex by adding so many navigation tabs and if condition and count condition. We should rather make it simple than making a complex. Otherwise, all those for just executing a simple block, we have to go with all the logical flow conditions and all those things. Then that's it. So it will definitely going to add your performance. Okay. Also, don't put unnecessary parameters like everything in the from the parameters. If you can go and fetch from the different local variables or something, use that. Don't put everything on the screen parameter. Also, while import JavaScript file as resource. Don't be dependent on internet. Like go and find from there. You can download have it in your resource also. That will also improve your performance. And move JavaScript blocks that aren't needed at the load time to the bottom. So what happens like if you have worked with the previous .NET technology where we can add this tag JavaScript at starting or at the bottom. Here, if we are using any block, we should use it in a right way. If you are using it at the screen level rightly, it will delay your screen loading time. So we have to use these blocks at the bottom of the time. Otherwise, it can increase the loading time. Also, if you're using any JavaScript files or something, we should use this minified version. So minified versions are basically a reduced, squeezed JavaScript, which are unnecessarily long. We have just made it small size. So they are length decreases, so we can use that also. Okay, so these were basically all the sections which we can do. But if I say you the top 10 tools for a performance improvement would be these things. You can definitely index your entities, set up your database maintenance plan, keep using service center reports, don't ever join over linked servers, configure your web memory settings, and also isolate large text and binary data, and avoid running timers and batch jobs. And in addition to that, simplify your screen preparation, avoid using preparation data in screen actions, and minimize the number of calls to the server. Okay, so this where what in general it was, and then also applies to web application. But if you specifically talk about mobile application, we have some additional best practices that we need to follow there. Any questions so far? Okay, Jenny, I'm audible. Sorry, Natimari, I'm audible. Okay,
Yes, you are.
okay. So coming to mobile. Uh, Yes. So whenever we are designing a mobile user interface, we should definitely consider empty states for content. Whenever the content is being fetched, we should by that time you should show the empty state. It improves the user experience. User is not blank, like he has some idea like what is going, how in way it is going to render. So it increases the patience. User is patient to see where what is coming. So you should definitely have this empty state added. And whenever you are using images, put the right width and height of the image digit. Otherwise, it will also increase the size, unexpected size. Okay, and definitely prioritize your screen content. Because if you have something secondary content or first content, if you're like if you have put so much logic in your screen or something, like you want like at least header should come first or then this should come first, you can prioritize your content so that user is like slowly it is coming to the screen, so user is not totally blank like okay everything will come all together at the end. So if one thing is coming, second thing it will be like seeing some progress and it will keep him engaging. Okay. Now, there is another thing like Service Studio itself is a very big help when it comes to performance suggestions. You have to be very cautious in either it is a mobile or web or traditional reactive anything. You have to always keep this warning as low as possible. Don't hide any warning until you really think that this is something that we cannot avoid. Keep you looking at the warning at the time of development only. So warnings will help you a lot to for all those things. Also, if I say top five rules, like we should design the local storage in a very light local storage. Like let's say if in database we have 20 or 30 attributes, we should not keep everything in the local storage. We should only put the things in the local storage which are necessary for showing on the screen as well as to get data, maybe some extra IDs or something. But yeah, we should keep this as light as possible. And also keep the splash screen very simple and fast. Many times we have seen like people add logics in the splash screen. Some heavy images over the splash screen. Try to make it very fancy. No, splash screen is basically not intended for that. We have to make it very fast so that the app launching time is not increasing. App should be launched quickly. So this is also be considered. Also, if we say like optimize your fetching data server data on a screen. Whenever you are fetching the data from the server, just keep mind of you are putting proper sorting, proper max record, proper identifier, whatever we have seen in previous slides. All thing is applicable here also. So minimal join it properly, max record is very must, and the ID filters, everything, max filters. So those things we should definitely consider while we are fetching server data on a screen. Also, optimizing the loading of lists. If we are loading a list in a very huge, we have to optimize the loading. We can list filter, list distinguish. If you are adding so much thing, it is going to add to the performance. So better all those things if we can do our query level and all those things better. But yeah, what is required we have to do, but it should be minimal. Also, definitely we should optimize the image file size, as I told you like before also. So yeah, this is also an important thing when you work with a mobile application. Okay, so this was how we can upfrontly use the best performances in our application, and then we can improve our performance of application. But what if something get missed, right? So there are some various tools in offered by OutSystem which will help you to like discovery and yeah, AI Mentor Studio. So what happens if you see discovery, it will help you to analyze and measure and how to understand like how to improve our architecture or even other things. How if the difference is going wrong or something, we can then use these tools, and definitely we should use these tools as possible, as much as possible. We should keep an eye. At least architect and tech lead should definitely keep an eye on this. So here, what you can do, you can also classify your modules to which layer it belongs and all those things, so that you can keep And even when you go to AI Meter Studio, they start analyzing to based on this classification also. So these things are important. Okay, and second tool is like I hope you know it very well. AI Meter Studio, which provides with an overview of the organization technical depth, which is actually classified into four categories: security, performance, maturity, and architecture. So here also we can see what all things. Although we have tried our best, but it's still there are areas of improvement. We should check this. It will definitely suggest you good things, and then you can work on it. So it will also add to your performance, and this should be a part of development activity. Before a user story or a functionality to the testing team only, I think developers should consider all these things. So this is a view how AI Mentor Studio looks like. You can filter your app module, and then you can get the reports like this, and it will give you all the report where the large resource is getting used, reference between modules are there. Then you can just click on this, and it will tell you like between which module it is cyclic reference, which elements it is using, which resource large in size. And then there are also like server requests and client events. If you're using client server request within the clients where it is, we should consider, it will give you like what is the impact and how to fix. We can go and directly go and fix it. So this also helps a lot when it comes to improving your performance. So for performance itself, these are the code patterns which architecture dashboard or AI Meter Studio actually gives you. So we have to be very cautious, or we should definitely keep on checking that if you are not getting and back recording or aggregates are in line. All these things we have to take in consideration. It's not just one or two. We have to a lot of things which can go wrong even if we have done our best. So definitely keep and working on this interest. Yeah, that's all for the performance things. Now, as I it's excellence is not a skill; it is an attitude. We should consider this from the starting of the application. It should be our behavior. Like if we are doing things, I will do it from the right from the first time, rather than just going back and then correcting it or something like. No, that is not the way. You should have that attitude that we should be doing it correct from the first time. So these are the takeaways. Like we got familiar with why performance matters, and then what are the impacts of having not so good performance. Then we also learned about the different possible ways of performance improvement, their benefits and applicability, and also understood how to validate the architecture using OutSystem tools. Yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you. Jeremy, over to you.
Thank you so much, Priti. That's an really awesome content. So we can feel your expertise in each and every explanation. Thank you so much. You've been so kind to the session. So let me just ask participants for any questions. Participants, if you have any questions, please post it in the chat box. So Preeti, can I go with some of the questions that has already been mentioned?
Sure.
Okay, so we have a question that like when we don't know a value to define the max records, what is the best approach that we can take?
Okay. So that actually depends which type of record you are using. Let's say if you are what application you can check with your customer. It's no need to shy like oh these are the very technical things we should check with the customer or our BA. They should give what is the maximum if you are creating a aggregate or a SQL query to show in a screen. So we should say what maximum things should come, because if you are doing a pagination or things, it should be a wisely added there. No hard and fast rule over there, but yeah, depends like how much best like possible things. If you want to see a data for 1 month, let's say, so in 1 month maximum 500 records would be added, 300 could be added, or 1000 could be added. So it totally depends on scenario to scenario. So this could be a good question for you to check with your BA or business.
Okay.
And we should
So I think
definitely check this. We should definitely don't assume anything. I would say we should check this upfront.
okay. Thank you, Preeti. And like we have a question similar to this, like what happened when user requires to have more than 2,000 characteristics in an attribute. So what's the best way to handle an attribute which is having more than 2,000 characteristics?
So if it is really required, definitely keep it as text or because our system will automatically optimize and convert into the data type, binary data type. But if it is required, but if it is unnecessary, we should not make it. We can create it binary also, and as well as we can keep it as text.
Okay, thank you. So we have a recent question, like having too much API call in a single server action will cause does it cause performance issue? If it is yes, what will be the suggested number of API call in a single server action to avoid performance issues?
Again, then there is no as such hard and fast rule. It totally depends, like how much data you are getting from your API, and again how much API calls you are doing. It totally depends on that. There is no hard and fast rule. It should be just like you can try one or two, but yeah, if we are calling multiple API, if we can suggest the API team to accommodate everything in one API so that we can have less network back and forth thing. So that will be great. We can ask them as well. But there is no as such hard and fast like mechanism. Ideally, it should be just one, not much. But yeah, I know there are many situations where we have to call one or two. But don't put like more than two or three, as per my experience. Maximum it should be two or three based on some conditions, either this or the.
Okay, and we have another question, like does in like we're having an aggregate, like we have a joint types, right? Like with without, does it make place a difference while validating performance?
Yes, if you have with or without join, it will actually make you as a left outer join. So, and if you are just, let's say, but if you are like, if you just want few records on from them with some inner join, so that will definitely make a difference. It can give you 500 records, and if you are making an inner join, which if you are requiring the record, it can give you 10 records. So we have to. That's why we have to very careful what exactly we are needing from the database.
Okay, so I think that's all. What do you have?
Okay.
So
Thank you. If any question anyone has further also, they can reach out to me over LinkedIn or I will be happy to help them.
sure, Preeti. So once again, we thank you so much for your time and showing your expertise in the discussion as well as the content. We are so happy to have you, Preeti.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for to you, Jeremy and Mary, for organizing this session. I hope it help people, it will help people and we will see better performances in every
Yes, sir.
application. Yeah.
Exactly. So as you mentioned, like this creates a mindset for the people. Like, let's do it once and let's do it right from the beginning. And it's
Yes.
really an insightful session. Thank you. So if that's done, let's move with quizzes. Okay. So let me start Kahoot and let's go with quiz. Okay. So team, I hope you can see my screen. You can join Kahoot. So you will be having a game pin. You can use it using Kahoot app, or you can join it using Kahoot.it using the link. So let's wait for a couple of minutes for people to join. Okay, we have people joining with nice emojis and nice names. Okay, let's wait for a minute. Okay, let's get started. We have 32 people joining the battle. Let's start. So, team, make sure you read the questions on the screen and you choose the answer options. Okay, we have similar to wait. Okay, let's wait. So, you can see the questions in the share in the screen share, and we'll be having options to select the answer. So, the correct answer and the response time matters. Okay, I hope no one is left behind. Let's get started. You have the first question on screen. Okay, what's one of the fundamental reasons for prioritizing performance in application development? Enhancing user engagement is the correct answer. Let's see the scoreboard. Okay, we have Asha on top, Saravana, then backed by Pavitra, Annie, and Santosh Prince. Okay, let's keep the fire going to the next question. Okay, what's the recommended maximum length for text attributes in the entity model to optimize performance? 2000 is the correct answer, and Mini got it successful. Nice. Let's see the scoreboard. Still, we have Ash on top. We have Thiru B on the scoreboard lid. Nice. Let's go for the next question. Okay, what is the recommended approach for handling binary data attributes in the entity model? So isolating them into separate entities is the correct answer. And thanks, many got it right. Let's check the scoreboard. Wow, we have a wind of change. We have Ash, then backed by Santosh Princeton, TUB. Nice. Let's keep the ball moving. Yeah. Which technique should be utilized to minimize the number of executed queries in OutSystem applications? Group the several aggregate into a single query is the correct answer. Okay, we still have a on top. Nice. Annie, we have Thubi, Sandeep, Jeevan Soy. Good. Let's see the next one. Okay, it's a very quick answer. What is the recommended duration for long running timers in OutSystem application? Yes, it's 20 minutes. Still we have Ash on top. Annie, Thirubi, Sandeep, Jeevan Sai. So we have crossed 5. Yeah. How can the performance of fetching server data for the screen can be optimized in mobile application? Optimize the loading of lists. It's the correct answer. Let's see the scoreboard. We have cross half the river. Still we have Ansh on top, Annie, Sandeep, Jeevan Sai, and Chandra. Nice. Let's go for the next question. Yeah, what tool provides an overview of an organization's technical depth in categories such as security and performance? Yes, without any doubts, it's AI Mentor Studio, formerly known as Architecture Dashboard. Nice. Let's see the scoreboard. We have Ash, Annie, Sandeep, Jeevan Sai, Chandra. Good. And we have 3 players on the 6th place. Nice. Let's see the 8th question. Okay, that's a tricky question. Which of the following is not a recommended practice for optimizing performance in OutSystem application? Of course, maximizing the number of fields fetched from the database or the entities is not a recommended practice. Nice. Good. We have the same set of scorers on scoreboard as Shani, Sandeep, Jeevan, Sai, and Chandra. Let's get to the 9th question. Okay, how should timers be managed to ensure optimal performance in OutSystem application? Is to set appropriate timeouts and handle exceptions. Is the correct answer. Okay, we have Arshani, Sandeep, Chandra, and Jeevan Sai, and Chandra has been stepped up. Let's see for the final question. Yeah, what is the recommended action regarding the use of site properties for logic variables in OutSystem application? Is to avoid changing the site properties, the values of the site property values frequently. Is the correct answer. And let's see the podium. We have Sandeep on the third. We have Annie on the second. And we have Mr. Arsh on the spotlight. Congratulations, Arsh, Annie, and Sandeep. And we have Jiva Sai and Chandra as the runner-up. Thank you so much, team. So for the congratulations for the winners. So the winners, please make sure you are sending your details for your t-shirt size to receive your swag kits directly from Portugal to any of our LinkedIn profiles to me, Hatineri or Krishnambal. So we'll be sharing the LinkedIn profile details with you. And once again, congratulations. Make sure you send us your shirt size, your address, and your proper name to receive the consignment. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the slide. Okay. Okay. So the quiz is done. So thank you so much, everyone, for participating in this event. So we make sure we deliver quality content, and it also needs your effort. If you have any ideas or suggestions for topic, please let us know. And if you are willing to speak in any one of the user group events, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to have you, and take the ideas which you have learned in the user group event from the community to your organization. That will be a leading example. And if you want to volunteer, if you want to participate in any one of the user group events, please reach out to us. And if you have any comment or feedback, you will be having a feedback link sent after this event. Please make time. Please make sure you give the quality feedback for us, which will improve us to serve you better in the next events. And if you have nice pictures or screenshots of your nice understanding, please post it on LinkedIn, tagging OutSystem users group, and we'll be so happy to see it. And make sure we also have a YouTube channel organized. All the recordings will be there. So myself or Hathimiri or Krishnamba or anyone from the community will be reaching through LinkedIn to post the name of the channel and the recordings and everything. So make sure to follow it for recent updates. And that's all from my side. And once again, I want to thank the speaker, Preeti Kumari. So thank you so much for your time, for being with us. And I really thank the organizers, Hathimiri and Krishnambal. It's been a very kind time for us. And I also thank the participants who have joined. Thank you so much for joining. You will be having the recording soon. And please make sure you upskill in the community with any events or any technical items. Like we have the forge, we have the community forum, we have the newsletters. Make sure you subscribe to it and have the recent updates. Let's all get upgraded and upskilled. Thank you so much. And this is Jerome signing off until we meet again. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Preeti, for the wonderful session. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for this wonderful session.